Warning, the following podcast contains very offensive language, so if you're easily offended or upset, then maybe this isn't the podcast for you. So, on to the next movie. So next up, we've got Brightburn, which is a superhero horror movie produced by Guardians of the Galaxy's James Gunn. Yeah, he's back to his horror roots. And directed by David Jurofsky. It's David Jurofsky's first film, and it's nice to see James Gunn go back to the horror stuff, which is what he was good at in the first place. It stars Elizabeth Banks from Hunger Games as Tori Breyer, who's pretty much a lead character bar Brightburn, like the kid that you see. David Denman, who's been in the Power Rangers, which seems to be coming up quite a lot, 2017's Power Rangers, and Logan Lucky, which I love that film, he's in that as well, and he's starring as Kyle Breyer, who's Tori's husband. It also stars Jackson A. Dunn. I think this is his first role, because he's quite young. He's not a child actor, but he's like in his teen years. I haven't really seen him in much else. There isn't really that much out there on him. And he's starring as the lead, Brightburn, like the bad guy, the superhero, whatever you want to call him, super villain, whatever. Also starring is Matt Jones as Noah, Becky Wallstrom as Erica, and Gregory Allen Williams as Chief Deputy Diva. So, Brightburn, I'm just going to read the synopsis for you guys. Brightburn begins with both Tori and Kyle Breyer, who dream of starting a family but struggle with fertility. That is, until an alien spacecraft drops out of the sky at their feet, housing a young alien boy who is human-like. They adopt the alien as their young son Brandon. All goes well until Brandon enters puberty and realises he has special powers such as super strength and the ability to fly. But all is not as it seems, as Brandon appears to turn evil, begging the question, what happens when Superman turns evil? That is such a sick premise. I love the idea. James Gunn, he's just got his thinking hat on, and he's just gone, what can I do? I'm known for superhero stuff and I'm known for horror. Well, I just bang the two together. I don't do horror movies. Anybody that knows me knows I really don't do horror movies. I have a really overactive imagination, so when I watch a horror movie it just sticks in my brain all night. But this is one of the first horror movies that I have actually been excited for, that I'm really looking forward to getting out there and watching. It's just like a great premise. I love my superheroes, you know that, as we talked last week with my mum. Superheroes are my thing. So to see a superhero horror movie, and it's not just that, it's the premise that what happens if Superman landed and wasn't actually a good guy and didn't turn into the Man of Steel that we know him as, and didn't turn into Clark Kent, and wasn't raised by Martha Kent and his dad, Jonathan Kent. What if he was raised by somebody different? And what if he was different? And what if he didn't realise he had all these powers and all that? And then people bullied him and people picked on him. And rather than getting the teachings from Jonathan and Martha Kent, just stay calm, leave it alone, you'll learn, you're bigger and better than them, as you'll always know. And you know, if you do start anything, Clark, you'll injure them, and then nobody will want to be around with you, blah, blah, blah. I know, it sounds like a really harsh thing that they say, doesn't it? Yeah, don't fight back to them, because if you actually fought them, you kill them, and then you'd be distraught, wouldn't you, Clark? It's such a mad thing to teach a kid, but there you go anyway. But it's the first thing James Gunn's been on since he was fired by Disney for his tweets, which I'm not going to bring up because I'm not interested in talking about it. It's old news now. But he's been recently rehired, especially after Dave Bautista, went on strike. It's his first project back, because he's also doing Suicide Squad for DC. He's one of the first people to do a Marvel and a DC thing at the same time. So it's good for him to come back to a smaller project, come back to his roots, come back to the horror genre, which is what he's... Well, it's not what he's known for, obviously, because of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's the stuff that he built his craft at and what he knows best, and being in a production role with a guy he's worked with before, because I did see this, David Jurofsky. He directed the Guardians Inferno music video, you know, for that Guardians Inferno song at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with David Hasselhoff. David Jarofsky directed that music video, which is quite a fun bit of trivia, I think. But yeah, so them two working together on a great project, a great sounding project. Let's see how we get on with that. Like I say, it allows Gunn to go back to his horror roots, which he hasn't really done in a little while. He did, let's just go back and have a look. I can't remember what it's called. Like I say, I don't really do a lot of horror, so I can't remember a lot of horror movies, apart from the ones that are out in cinema now. Yeah, so it allows James Gunn to go back to his horror roots, like he did with Sliver, which is the one he's known for, the Belko Experiment he was a writer on for. Like, the majority of the stuff that he's known for are horror movies, and it allows him to go back. He's done a lot of writing credits. I didn't know he wrote Scooby-Doo 2, like the second one, with Monsters Unleashed. I remember that as a kid. That was fucking god awful. The first one was better. Like, Scrappy-Doo was the maddest thing in the world. But anyway, there we go. So, yeah, it allows him to go back to what he's good at. It mirrors 2013's Man of Steel. So, I bet if you watch this movie, and then you go back and watch 2013's Man of Steel with Henry Cavill and his dad, who's Russell Crowe, and all that lot, you've probably all seen it tons of times. Yeah, it kind of mirrors what Man of Steel was doing back then, and you can probably compare like where it went wrong, what was the problem, and then compare it. It's like so cool to compare and contrast two Superman stories. But what if the bad guy was the good guy? No, what if the good guy was the bad guy? Makes such and such. In this movie, is Lex Luthor the good guy? That's a question. Like I say, I don't really do horror movies, but it looks really good. Like the cast isn't like really well known, bar Elizabeth Banks really, from tons of stuff. It just looks really good. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. But superhero horror looks like it's going to be a new genre. James Gunn being the originator of it, and David Jarofsky. I hope that's how you say his name anyway. That's how I've been saying it. It looks like it's a new genre, to be honest. So yeah, cinematography is gorgeous in this movie. Like, I like to talk about like the technical side of stuff, like the way it's lit, the colour grading on it. It's just like, it's gorgeous. It's dark. It feels claustrophobic, especially the scene where you see Brightburn come through the window in the diner, and you see that woman all on her own, and she's crawling up into the corner, and he comes up and he's got that mask on with the cape, like the sewn together mask that looks creepy as fuck, and he just goes phew, and the glass ends up in her eye, which is one of the things I wanted to cover as well. That shot is just mad. How they did that is like the maddest thing, like where she just goes pulls the glass out her eye, and then he just jumps on her. It's the maddest thing. I really enjoyed it though, to be honest. It's nice to have Elizabeth Banks back in a lead role. I haven't really seen her in much recently. Like I say, I'm sure she was in Power Rangers. Was she not the... Yeah, she was. Plus she was in the Lego Movie. I should have realised that. And other bits and bobs. Yeah, it's nice to have her back in a lead role. Something a bit smaller that she can just have fun with. Horror movies are always fun to star in, I've heard. So yeah, that's pretty good. Small cast. Always works well in these types of movies. So it allows them to work together, like the lead three. It allows them to work together, do a lot more work, rather than having to work with a massive huge cast and having to do this bit and that bit. You can just bring it together and you can get it directed in a lot smaller weeks, because you don't have to schedule stuff. I really recommend it. I don't do horror, like I said, but I really recommend it. So yeah, that's up to you guys to go out there. But like I say, I just want to give you the Rotten Tomatoes quick. It's 64% after 56 reviews. So like Aladdin before, it's a bit of a middle of the road movie. It seems to have a lot of middle of the road movies this weekend. That can change, like same with Aladdin. Like they will change backwards and forwards, because we're only on what I'm recording this on Friday the 24th. So they'll probably change over the weekend once they're in wide release. So that should be good. And then last but not least, Metacritic, it's 56, 46 after 18 critics. So yeah, so that's really it for your preview this week. Next, we're going to bring up